My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing. Joining me today are my two fantastic co-hosts. Why don't you two introduce yourselves?
Yo, I'm Mac, back again. Thank you guys for joining us. And you can find me on Twitter at AZ Sports Fiend. That's FIEN.
And I'm Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with two O's. I have a little bit of a background going on, little blankie here. Guys, what the fuck happened today?
I'm back, baby. Player Hater of the Year 2023, baby. I never fucking liked this team. Let's go.
Silky Johnson in the house.
All I know is yesterday Will said he wasn't going to be able to make it today. And then today, happenstance, 3 trades later, he's here with us. So, Will, tell us your first thoughts since you missed last week. I'm sure you got a lot to say that's on your mind.
I am fucking livid. A 7th round pick for a first round guy is horrendous. I feel this feels like the first trade you see when you're playing 2K, and you use the trade finder, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trade LeBron James for like Christian Wood, No,
did you see how bad Simmons was on Saturday?
I saw how bad he was on Saturday. One game doesn't fucking move the needle, especially when it's the fucking Chiefs. You kidding me? No,
Chiefs backups.
Well, didn't they play their starters the whole fucking first half? Wasn't that their whole thing?
First quarter, but Isaiah Simmons was getting torched in second quarter, third quarter, and beyond. He wasn't going to be here. He wasn't Monty Ossenfort was the one who drafted him in the first round.
I know that. No, I get it. He's not going to be here after this year anyway. But why not just I don't know, try to build his stock throughout the year, trade him for like a 5th at the deadline. That's not much better, but man.
I honestly think that's what they were trying to do is build his stock because he had a $2.5 million signing bonus August 1st that the Cardinals paid. So obviously we've been hearing reports that this has kind of been in the works for weeks now. So that tells me that Ossenfort and them were trying to move him to a different position and trying to showcase him for the preseason. And after that went terribly awry on Saturday night on about 5 different instances, I think it was just a little too much. He wasn't going to be starting for us. That became pretty obvious. So between him and Josh Jones, there's 2 guys who are out of here who would not have been back next year. So you at least get something at the end of the day.
It's like a yard sale. Everything must go. I will say though, we're going to touch on these later. The Dobbs trade to me is the most troubling. I feel like that gives me the most pause out of any of the trades.
Before we hit that, Jackie, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I thought we could have at least gotten something more than a 7 for Isaiah Simmons. I talked about it on TCR Live with Joe. It's a guy that you want to root for, given that he had all this raw, crazy athleticism. It was just never tapped into. Vance Joseph and company did a disservice to him, and it's a new regime. They don't have any loyalty to him. They're just trying to make do of what they've got, and they realize this ain't the guy. So let's move on. We're about to start making cuts, and instead of cutting him, get whatever you can for him at this point. And then we talked about the situation of trading Josh Jones. Because he is a starting caliber offensive lineman that's sitting on our bench that we're not going to pay top dollar for just to be a backup when he.
And the Cardinals screwed that. The original sin of Josh Jones, in my opinion, was not getting him starting reps. Prior to last year when he was forced into left tackle, so he bounced around just like Isaiah Simmons. Yeah. Rookie year didn't start, but played a little bit at right tackle. Second year was, in the middle at right guard a lot, and they bounced him around right tackle. So just like Isaiah Simmons, there's no real place for him to kind of grow.
Right.
Out. Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and say, when I was warming up my car this morning and I'm looking down and I'm seeing all of these fucking notifications go, and I was, seeing Isaiah Simmons for a 7th rounder, I'm not going to say that I wasn't in shock. Like the first thing I saw was Isaiah Simmons trade. I'm like, oh shit, let me go to Twitter. Let me find what it was for. I'm thinking, maybe they could squeeze out a fourth, a fifth. But a seventh tells me that, yeah, he was on the chopping block. Their cut downs right around the corner right here. And after that performance on Saturday, it kind of lends me to believe that maybe he didn't respond behind the scenes as well as they would hope someone of Isaiah Simmons' caliber after a terrible game like he did. I was in San Diego. I didn't see the game right off the bat initially. So all I saw was Twitter feed of Isaiah Simmons, people fucking shitting on him. So I'm like, okay. So I go back last night and, try to rewatch the game. And I'm thinking maybe a play or two here. But I mean, in my fucking notes, I got about 5-6 different plays, starting with him getting fucking pussied around by Sky Moore. Sky fucking Moore, 5'9", and if you haven't seen that video, I just tweeted that out about an hour ago. So go to my Twitter page, AZ Sports Fiend, and take a look at that on a little screenplay to the tight end. Isaiah Simmons, 240, 6'4", can't get by 5'9", 5'10", fucking Sky Moore, 195. He's tiptoeing around. And then that play at the goal line, too, with the quarterback. It looked like Isaiah Simmons thought he was going to go out of bounds and just kind of sidesteps him. And then he gets burned on another route in the middle of the field. It just was on and on and on. And the one thing you could count on, early in Isaiah Simmons' career was he could lay the wood. He was a physical guy.
Yeah.
So now I don't know if he's just thinking way, way too much. But that was my first thought was when I saw they could only get a seventh rounder is, shit, sounds like, this regime was about to cut his ass and figured they would get something in return. And at the end of the day, it did look like Money Austin Fort had a plan with these 3 trades and bring in a QB. Basically, what was it? You're trading Isaiah Simmons and Josh Jones basically for what? Josh Dobbs and a 5th rounder. So it sounds like there was a plan kind of in the making right there, just by the domino effect. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't, surprised early in the morning to see what it was for. But after, thinking about it for a few minutes, it makes sense. That's what GMs do when they go to new organizations and have to start from the bottom up.
It's never been more over. Never in my life has it been more over.
Over what? Like this season over? Because, yeah, I mean, this season was over. Did you see what we did not do in free agency? I mean, there's...
Get any running backs?
I mean, look at our D-line. Look at our cornerback room. And I'm sure we're going to probably...
position group.
Yeah, other than safety, and then even I thought the offensive defensive line offensive defensive lines did good against Kansas City. You can just see there's not a lot of depth there. Right. There's a little bit more depth, I believe, on the offensive line. You got Kelvin Beachum, swing tackle. But really, there was no room for Josh Jones. He wasn't a starter here. We just drafted, Paris. So there's just no room for him to be here right now in this time. And it sucks. Both those guys, it feels like they were done a disservice by the previous regime. But it is what it is.
Man, I feel like now is probably the good time to talk about the Josh Dobbs trade. So essentially, here's the breakdown. I'm gonna grab the. I gotta find the fucking thing real quick. Hold up.
Minimize your Pornhub screen. Get your shit together.
We have anything in the chat, Jackie?
All right. So here's the gist.
My friend that says yo. That's about it. Sorry.
We traded we traded Simmons to the Giants for a 7th. We traded Josh Jones and a 7th. Not sure if it's the Giants to the Texans for a 5th, and then we traded a 5th to the Browns for Josh Dobbs and a 7th round pick. The Dobbs one is concerning to me, really concerning, because that tells me that at least in my opinion, that tells me one of two things. It tells me either Colt McCoy is cooked or Kyler's not coming back this season. And given what we've heard about Kyler, I think it's probably the second one. I know Colt hasn't been looking good this preseason. I know that his camp has supposedly been horrendous. But
yes.
Oh, every play you see is him throwing it in
interception.
Right.
And I mean, he never really had that much of an arm to begin with. I mean, compared to a lot of other quarterbacks. But I mean, now especially, he just looks done. It's funny because I swear to God there was a point earlier this year where I thought he retired, and he did not, and I was surprised to hear that.
Shout out, David. Jackie, what was your first thought on the Josh Dobbs trade?
It kind of confirmed more or less the fact that Colt's cooked, Tune's not ready, and we're not going to activate Kyler off the pup list. What was the cutoff, like August 31st?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean to me that he's never coming back this season. It's just that
they don't trust what they have right now.
Right. That this QB battle that's been going on, they haven't named a starter, and Tune hasn't wowed. Colt, I was thinking it was going to be the starter just based on experience.
Yeah.
He's a vet. He's been there, done that.
And I still think he will be, but I think Josh Dobbs will be nipping on his heels week 1 or week 2 if he fucks up.
Absolutely.
And the one thing about Josh Dobbs is that he was with our offensive coordinator Petzinger last year.
Hold up. Silver Wolf AZ says, I would trade both Will and Mac before KM won. I mean,
I would too.
Yeah.
Kyler as my co-host. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys.
She's not gonna fuck you, Silver Wolf. It's fine.
Be nice.
Well, no. If Jackie,
Hey, if Caleb Williams is sitting right there and you don't trade Kyler Murray, you're a fucking idiot. I'm
Jackie,
sorry. You have to go with the younger guy. Caleb,
Jackie,
you have to go.
You have to remember if Kyler Murray's on this stream, it becomes a Twitch stream.
Kyler, is that you? But the one thing about Josh Dobbs is he was both with Monty Austin-Fort and Drew Petzing last year in 2 different franchises. He started the last 2 games for the Titans in Tennessee when Tannehill went down and Malik Willis just wasn't ready. And then before that, he was with the Browns before Watson came back. And then once Watson was activated, they waived him. So he was with 3 different teams last year. I don't think he's going to step in here and start right away. I know people are like, why would you trade a 5th rounder for a backup QB? It's a 5th rounder. He's not going to see the field. Whoever you draft there, more than likely, is not going to make an impact in the 5th round. So we're stacking up all these draft picks. Austin Ford is. So you're moving a 5th rounder to bring in a guy that you trust, that you've had a relationship in the past with. Like, I get it. It makes sense.
I'm just kind of surprised though, because I feel like, now that we're making cuts, I would have thought we would have seen maybe another running back added, maybe a quarterback.
And we still might. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, there's still time. It's just I wasn't expecting to see a quarterback today. Is all I'm saying.
Jackie, what are you sipping on though?
Oh, me.
I know.
It's a new.
You said it was something strong.
Yeah, it's a New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA, 9% because it's been a fucking day. Let me tell you that.
9% are at what, 24 ounces, or is that a 16 ouncer? Either way, that was like a 24 to me.
Either way, I'm gonna be on the floor by the end of the stream.
Oh yeah.
I'll say, God help me, it could be worse. We could have the Trey Lance situation.
and that is right. That could be worse. Isaiah Simmons was a miscarriage, but
at least we didn't trade 3 first-round picks. And hey, you want to hear some fun math here?
And they're still better than us. That fucking.
You want to hear some fun math here?
Way better.
What's your math, Will?
So his contract is $27,850,000. He's had 262 snaps. That equates to $106,000 per snap.
Who are you talking about?
Trey Lance.
Hey, he made his money. And that's one thing I remember. A memory of Isaiah Simmons here was when he leveled fucking Trey Lance at the goal line. Was at the beginning of last year. And Isaiah Simmons INT versus Russell Wilson.
His rookie year again. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are some of the things, and to see what the 49ers are going through, putting Trey Lance now seemingly on the trading block, and to see what we've been kind of going through, it shows you how NFL games are won in the trenches, won and lost all day in the trenches. San Francisco's the prime, example, 1 through whatever for that. They can switch out running backs, they can switch out fucking quarterbacks. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Also, N'Keal Harry just got waived. That'll be fun.
N'Keal. I'm wearing a fucking ASU jersey. You pronounce that man's name correctly.
All right, hit me with it. How do I pronounce it?
Nikhil.
Okay.
Nikhil Harry.
Well, I forgot, so that's on me.
Did anybody say that?
Well,
Did anybody say that here that Josh Dobbs is getting cut? I didn't. I saw we had a comment on that, but I didn't know.
Yeah, it said. I'll throw that back up. It says, I'm just very confused about trading away a fifth net six. Maybe that might have been cut.
Well, so the thing about Josh Dobbs is he didn't play one snap in 3 fucking preseason games with the Browns, but they named him their QB2, what, yesterday or fucking earlier today or earlier this week, and then all of a sudden they get a fifth and boom, slip.
Well, I mean, wasn't
going to get cut. They had him.
But I mean, also you have to remember Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked really good in the preseason.
He flashed. I mean,
his
Dobbs' upside is one thing. Like I love Dobbs at Tennessee, and then when he kind of like how I like Geno Smith, and Geno Smith was at West Virginia and didn't really put it together. So who knows? Maybe I mean, Dobbs wasn't as high of a pick as Geno, but you never know.
Dorian's passer rating this preseason, according to the Browns website, is 102.45.
Yeah, no, I mean, and for him to be named QB3, so it makes you kind of wonder if the Browns, didn't want to play Josh Dobbs to avoid him getting hurt, which is just a weird. It's the Browns, so you never know what they do is going to be right or what. But not play a guy and then name him QB2 and then trade him. Like that's total Browns right there.
Conspiracy theory time. They named him QB2. So they can inflate his value to get a trade. Boom, got him.
Yeah, and they got a 5th rounder.
Yeah,
there you go. And it sounds like from I haven't seen like any definitive reports, but Austin Fort liked Dobbs. Once he got hired as the Cardinals, it sounded like I forget someone in the group chat said it. I don't know if it was anyone like reputable or any news source or anything, but it sounded like Austin Fort tried signing Dobbs, and then Dobbs ended up going back to Cleveland with who he signed with last year. So it was just kind of interesting. Like we offered him possibly a contract. He said no. We're like, fuck it. We're trading for you anyways. You can't say nothing about it. So here he is, and from Gambo, take it for a grain of salt. He did say there's D-Hop was coming back for the playoffs, but Gambo does say he's probably going to be the QB2. So, which, I mean, from all indications from watching Clayton Tune, I don't think Clayton Tune's ready. He's more athletic, so if you have a shitty offensive line, he can scramble. He can do little things with his legs, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with your 1 and 2 guys being Colt McCoy and Clayton Tune heading into this year.
Yeah, that's when you know that they're going for 0-17.
I mean, when he trade for Josh Dobbs and he's got fucking 100 pass attempts under his belt since 2018 or whatever when he got drafted. It is what it is. I don't think we're actively tanking. I just think we're getting guys in here who we know, or getting guys out of here who aren't setting the right precedents or foundation, and obviously Petzinger and Austin Fort had a relationship with Dobbs, and they know he's a fucking rocket scientist, Josh Dobbs. He went to Aaron, I'm not even going to pronounce. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm just going to say that.
Didn't he go?
He went to Tennessee, but he went to. I am not even going to try engineering some shit for NASA. Is kind of what he went to school for, and when he got done, he started interning with them and shit. So he's a lot smarter than really anybody. Me. He's smarter than me. We'll just start there. I'm not going to say he's smarter than Will or Jackie, but you do have a Tucker Carlson.
If he's a literal rocket scientist, we can give him some credit.
And my pronouns are dumb and bitch. So that says a lot about me. Not even fucking halfway into this beer. Jesus.
Can I just tell you, I chugged that beer yesterday or last episode, right?
Right.
Watch the D-backs, getting ready for bed, and I'm fucking kind of drunk. I'm like, okay, I got to kind of get drunk because I got to pick up the rental car at 5 in the morning, and we're planning on being in San Diego at noon or 1. So I'm like getting to bed around 11. D-backs game ends at 10. I hear my phone going off around 11:30. All right. So fucking Airbnb canceling on us. 12 fucking people going to San Diego for fucking 2 nights, literally 5 hours before I'm supposed to go pick up the fucking rental car. So I'm on the phone with fucking Airbnb till about 3 in the morning, and they end up putting us up in 2 different spots, one in one night, one in the other night. And then like an hour before we get to San Diego, I get a fucking message that one of the Airbnbs is canceled. So they had to put us in another spot for the first night we were there. But I am glad to say that I was able to see titties and a hurricane in San Diego. One of the first people to only say that in 85 years. You can't say that. There was no hurricanes in 85 years in San Diego. So we saw titties and a hurricane at my brother's bachelor party. Shout out Derek.
Shout out titties.
I think Derek's still hurt from the Maker's Mark that bottle we got at the strip club, but it was well worth it. Anyways, let's talk about Cardinals, not titties and hurricanes.
Can we not? Can we talk about titties for a while? Because I think that's probably better. To be honest,
give the people what they want.
Exactly.
If you want something interesting, people Google Hong Kong Tijuana. Enjoy.
Max titties are on the OnlyFans. So do the OnlyFans, and you can see them there.
Yeah. Hey, did you wear your Speedo?
I did not. It was in my backpack the whole time. No, I'm not. It was there. I don't remember packing it, but apparently I did. So no, it was good.
Here's some tea.
Here's some titties. What?
Have a little bit of tea. Have a little bit of gossip.
Oh,
it's not much gossip. It's something
Who's banging who?
But I was at the game with my dad on Saturday, and he was telling me one of his buddies goes and hangs out at Salt at Westgate. If you're not familiar with Westgate, It's an entertainment district right outside of State Farm Stadium. And I guess he used to see old Steve Keim up there on the regular during the lunch hour, boozing it up.
On the lunch hour, really?
On the lunch hour during the day. So that's why our Isaiah Simmons didn't work out. That's why Josh Jones didn't work out. That's why this motherfucker can't draft to save his life, because he's too busy boozing.
I run a small business.
You know what?
And
Good
you
for
will
him.
not see me drinking during the day. Imagine running a fucking multi-billion-dollar industry and fucking you're out there day drinking. Like, give me a fucking break, man.
I can day drink and fucking draft a better fantasy team that this man can put together a fucking NFL team.
How many leagues are you guys in?
2.
That reminds me of a story about I think it was Mark Davis, Al Davis's kid.
His first bowl haircut?
Well, not only did he fly to the same barbershop every chance.
It is a barbershop fucking story.
To get his haircut like that specifically, but also supposedly he went into the same P.F. Chang's every morning to do business. So he'd I guess just work at P.F. Chang's.
How far we've strayed from the fucking topics at hand. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we're trying to avoid talking about the Kansas City Chiefs game. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. Who wants to fucking talk about a 30?
I mean, what's there to talk about? We got our asses blown out by a team we expected.
No, I mean, literally, my show notes on the game, had about a dozen things there, and about half of my list right here is fucking Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons, one-arm tackles, QB. Isaiah Simmons, ball skills need major improvement. Isaiah Simmons, beat up by Sky Moore down fucking on screenplay. Was blocked in space by 5'10" Sky Moore. So I'm not sad about it, mad about it. If they want to put him as linebacker, good luck. The one thing about Isaiah Simmons, he cannot shed tacklers. You want to put him against offensive linemen. That's why they moved him away as far away from the line of scrimmage as possible. He was getting swallowed up by offensive linemen in the run game. Literally, going back, I know I posted a handful of fucking highlights on it last year. Just him getting swallowed up, So it is kind of disappointing to see where his career is right now, but I'm not hating on him. I'm wishing him the best. I hope he gets his, career back on track. It just more and more indications were that it was not going to happen here.
Did you guys see that D-Hop said that we got fleeced by the Giants?
Yeah.
But I mean,
probably taking up for his homie. I mean, at first glance, you're like, oh, shit, a top 10 pick getting traded for a 7th rounder. Maybe there's something. And we'd be hyping it. If we traded a 7th rounder for a first-round pick, from 4 years ago, we'd be stoked. So I get it. But reality is, man, you better find a specific position for that man.
So if we...
Because I thought he looked his best when he was on tight ends his rookie year. And then fucking from there, just kind of tried doing too much. And then even at that point, he, regressed on his coverage skills, even on tight ends, which, is a major disappointment, in my opinion.
Oh, we're so fucked.
Before we get off the topic, because I feel like this point's beating a dead horse about Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
But before we get off that topic, I just have one final thought. Well, not a thought, but just I saw a grown man fucking butt chug on Twitter that we drafted him. How far we've come from that.
I fucking saw that too. Fucking what's his name?
Shout out Basic Rich on Twitter.
Basic Rich.
David Garcia. David Garcia asks, "What do you think of Michael Wilson? I think he looks fucking phenomenal, and I am sad that he has to play with us this year."
The savior of the season.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Wide receivers don't come in the league and produce right off the bat. I mean, obviously, our cornerback room's fucking kind of dog shit, you know, compared to the rest of the league. Oh yeah,
and I am excited to see what he can do. But on the same token, I've seen so many guys who are like physical freaks walk through this door and do nothing. So
Jackie and I talked about it. If he can come in and end up being that number 2 by the end of the year, that's fucking, you know, that's my highest expectation for him. Other than that, I'll need him to stay healthy. He's never stayed healthy in college. Need him to produce other than against the Cardinals, you know, cornerbacks. Look at what the Vikings have been doing against our cornerbacks in, you know, practice, you know, joint practices aside from Keitrell Clark. And, you know, I'm looking forward to this weekend. You know, it's a 10 a.m. game in Minneapolis. So it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have a lot of guys playing with their hair on fire. You know, you trade 2 fucking guys who are former first and third round picks and who are, you know, fighting for, you know, snaps this year. You trade them. That's going to be an eye opener for a lot of these guys on this roster. Like, this isn't fucking fun and games. You know, this is fucking grown ass man shit. Like, jobs on the line, futures on the line. Like, this is where the foundation is setting. And Austin Fort's getting guys out of here who, A, have a little bit of value and he can get something in return while he doesn't believe that they're going to be coming back or being an integral part of this franchise moving forward. So you get as many of those guys off this roster, which he has done. I mean, he didn't bring back any fucking, you know, players other than what Kelvin Beachum on this team over the offseason. So it is going to be interesting to see how this season shakes out. I mean, we were asked this question last week, Will. What is the ceiling for wins for this team this year?
I was a lot more optimistic going into the season. I thought it may be like 6 or 7. Right now, I say 3 or 4 is our ceiling at the moment.
The ceiling?
Yes.
I'm still standing at 5.
Ceiling, I think our ceiling, we said, what, if Kyler kind of came back to be hovering, you know, maybe about 500 if he came back earlier.
If it's,
I still think it's a 4, maybe 5 win team. And then from there, you have Colt, 2 wins either way.
If Colt McCoy is leading the charge, I have my ceiling at 3. If Toon or Dobbs is leading the charge, maybe 4 or 5.
My prediction is Colt McCoy starts week 1. But by week 3, Josh Dobbs is the starter.
Yeah, no, I'm.
And those are 2 winnable games right there. I mean, Washington and the Giants. And the one thing that we play the Giants week 1 or the first home opener. So Isaiah Simmons comes back to town right away. See, you know, is he going to get how many snaps is he going to get? Where's he going to be playing? You know, is he going to be off ball, rushing the passer? Is he going to, you know, be in their rotation? Is he going to be starting? He'd probably start more as a rotational guy, but it'd be interesting to see, and it'd be interesting to see how our offensive line holds up against him because they've seen all of his moves or lack thereof. You know, DJ Humphries, Paris Johnson, Kelvin Beachum if needed to be. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting first couple of weeks. I still don't think it's far cry that we can win both of those fucking games. Nobody's scared of Washington or the Giants, for God's sake.
Yeah, the Washington game especially is the one where I'm confused with the odd makers because I'm not really scared of that team.
You don't have a reason to. There is.
No I mean, why would I be? I mean, they got rid of a.
Sam Howell's their starter.
Sam Howell's their starter, and I know Heineke's not exactly like a top tier starter, but he was actually, he was decent for them. He wasn't amazing, but he was fine.
Beer time.
So I just really don't get why they moved on from him and why Howell is their pick.
That is troubling to me, but that's a shit show of an organization. Shocking to say that there's other organizations out there that might be more mismanaged than us. CC the Colts, but who the fuck knows? I'm not afraid of Washington. I'm not afraid of Daniel Jones. He looks like he should be an insurance salesman rather than an NFL
I will
quarterback.
say I have picked up Brian Robinson for my week 1 running back.
Hey, hot take. He should have won comeback player of the year. Motherfucker got shot.
I mean,
Meanwhile,
I
Geno Smith wins it because he sucked ass. And then all of a sudden he decides to not suck ass and somehow gets it.
Well, no, if I remember, comeback player is like after, like the season after something big happens to you. Right?
That'd been dope, though. You'd be a rookie to win comeback player of the year.
After getting
That would
shot.
be kind of dope, right? You got shot in preseason.
So
I'm gonna got shot. Just like DeMar
debating-
Hamlin's gonna win it this year because he died on the field.
And one thing, if we can go back to the Josh Jones trade, the Texans are banged up right now. They lost their starting right guard and their starting right tackle and backup right tackle. Their starting right tackle is Titus Howard, who just signed a 3-year, $56 million deal, first rounder from Alabama. And then on the other side, they have Laramie Tunsil. So everything I've read, it's not like Josh Jones is going in there and going to be the starter, the can't miss starter, right away. He's going there out of necessity. The Texans are actually trying to win games this year. They don't have a first round pick. They need to fucking win games right off the bat. So it sounds like Josh Jones will go there. Titus Howard's going to be out maybe a month. And then it sounds like Josh Jones will be the swing tackle, which that's not a bad swing tackle to have,
No.
and who knows if they retain him or not. But so if all you can get is Isaiah Simmons, a 7th rounder, and a Josh Jones 5th rounder, people are seeing exactly why these guys weren't starting within 3 years of the league. Sure, we probably stunted their development, but at the end of the day, no one was forking over anything worthwhile until the Texans lost their right tackle and we were backed into a corner and we wanted to get something instead of nothing. So shrewd moves by Money Awesome for it. Have you guys seen? I think typically the majority seems to be all about this, but that's why we like having Will on the show. He's the outlier. He's outlandish like that, and obviously me and Jackie, we seem, the resident pessimist, But it's nice to have you back, Will.
It's nice to be back.
How's college?
Less said the better. Man, remember when the Cardinals and the Suns both had the best record in the league at the same time? That was a fun time.
That was the last time I knew peace. It's been the last time I was genuinely happy in life. It's been hell ever since.
Aside from when your daughter was born, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she thought eyes would look to the right. She's looking at her right now.
No, I'm like trying to think. I'm like, was she born?
How old is she?
During that time, she's a year and she'll be 2 in December.
So she was born that year.
So she was already here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a baby and my life was good.
Yeah, that was the last great thing. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That season, me and my dad had a ritual. We'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings after every win. And I remember saying after week 4, when we beat the Rams and we looked at super convincing, like, what if this is it? What if this is our year?
That was the downhill. You can never speak it. You can never speak it.
If Will starts believing in us, everybody jump off the Hi.
Hey,
we're going 17-0 this year, guys. Clayton Tune is going
between
to
the 3 of us, we don't even have a combined 17 wins, so a little far-fetched.
Well, no, I mean, Mac, you're saying all this now, but you and I both know that you're going to predict a Cardinals win every game during the season. You can be a pessimist.
We better not start 2-0 because you goddamn right know I will. The last time I predicted the Cardinals to go get 5 wins, we ended up with the worst pick in the league and drafted Kyler Murray. So this is 5 wins again right now. Let's see if history repeats itself because
nobody watched.
It can always get crazier as a Cardinal fan or fucking hell, an Arizona sports fan in general.
Nobody watched the first podcast I did for this show. But for the first show of the Redbird Redzone Podcast, it was the Josh Rosen year, and I predicted us to go to 9-7.
Oh my fuck! Well, I guess we gotta talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, but we gotta talk about it because there's a fucking faceless account, random. I don't know who their source is, who they are, what they do, but they're saying that we don't even start Kyler Murray and he won't even be here next year. What do you guys think about it?
Pro Football Network, like Pro Football Focus is, one thing. They have hundreds of thousands, million followers, or whatever the fuck case may be. Pro Football Network is reporting this with 45,000 followers. So make it what you will.
I mean, I have heard of Pro Football Network. I've done my
Yeah. Oh no. I follow people for more like fantasy football shit, but still.
What do you guys think or make of that? What are you drinking, Mac?
I got wedding next month for my brother, wedding the month after that for my nephew, and then I get married 2 weeks after that. So of course.
I
haven't drank since San Diego, so I was like, oh, I might as well. We got a podcast.
Yeah.
Still hurt.
But no, I mean, I genuinely expected this. I was always kind of taken aback when people suggested that he could be back this year, because I feel like just knowing how this team is set up for the year and knowing that it's essentially an operation that is driven to lower cost for the next few years. I mean, Kyler Murray realistically would be coming back in probably late October to November.
Yeah.
When we're already out of the picture. So, I mean, what's the point in even, risking his health, getting him injured just to maybe eke out one game against the fucking Eagles?
See,
no, that wouldn't happen.
That's what I love about this podcast is we keep it real, man. You listen to fucking Johnny Fuckface, or excuse my language or whatever, but all they do is hype. They try to just fucking be Mr. Optimistic. Everything's glowingly like. I mean, they showed fucking on one of the Cardinals game plan things like a month ago. Kyler throwing passes like with his dad, not moving his leg at all, and fucking that account says, does that look like a guy that's not going to be ready week 1? Like, go get your likes, dumb fuck. There's no way. Like, this move more than anything.
But on the same
Josh Dobbs.
On the same fucking token here, I mean, Gannon and the organization aren't helping their case either because they're fucking enabling it. I remember. I mean, there was that interview. I can't even.
Who knows if they're enabling or not, though? I think they're just being cautious. He's a mobile quarterback, undersized. Like,
but I mean,
who doesn't like to get hit to begin with?
Gannon went, on, I don't even know what it was, but he was asked, like, hey, could we see Kyler Murray week 1? And he said, we'll see. And it's like,
we'll see. That's what he always says. It's we'll see. He's a coach. He's not going to turn anything down. People asked him this week, hey, coach, this is yesterday. Hey, coach, can we see Clayton Tune start in week 1? What was his comment? We will fucking see. That you have to read between the lines. And that's what some of these, bigger accounts or whatever, I don't know. I'm only on
MJX says, excuse me, this is Joey Fuckface. He meant Johnny Fuckface.
Joey Fuckface.
We won't name...
Sorry, Joey. Sorry,
but no,
Joey.
there is a Johnny Fuckface he's talking about. I know.
But it's more just more or less those accounts that everything is basically kind of in a positive light. Which I get. I mean, I've been a Cardinal fan since fucking, Sun Devil Stadium, where no one in my school is a fucking Cardinal fan. We're a fucking Cardinal jersey in elementary school, and you get made fun of. We literally would get made fun of. So I don't want to hear these fucking accounts who, are from fucking Illinois and been here for 5 years and think they fucking know this fan base. No, you're just pandering for fucking likes. Sorry. We're at this fucking place right here. We keep it real. And we're always going to keep it real, whether you guys like it or not. We have Will the Pessimist, me the fucking dick face, and then beautiful Jackie. So we have 3, and anytime you come on here, hardly ever do we ever agree on anything. No. And I hate listening to podcasts who always agree on everything.
And when we do agree on everything, the world is ending.
When we do agree on everything, the opposite is going to happen. That's what happened. If we agree on it, the opposite. So that's why we appreciate and miss you. Last week, Will, when you weren't here, because you do give it a different feel. Right when you came on here today, you said the world is ending. And I know you're kind of tongue in cheek a little bit, but a lot of people do feel like that. I've seen a handful of accounts, today kind of like shocked on, this is a horrible fucking day in Cardinal history. Like, All right, but
did you miss the rest
it's not
of
all
the history?
smooth sailing. Also, we're not going to sit here and say, this is smooth sailing. It hasn't been a perfect offseason. We hope everything's going to go right. But I can't sit here and say that, no matter what, things are going to be better this time next year. They better be. But crazy shit happens. If this team goes winless, who the fuck knows what Michael Bidwell is going to do? That's the one fucking cherry on top of all of this is he's the wild card. Michael Bidwell, is he going to let the guys in there who take a little bit more control than what Keim did? Is he going to give them that control and step back and let them do their thing? Or is he going to micromanage? So hopefully after not winning a playoff game in nearly a decade now, he's going to learn to trust his football guys, not have a drunk in there, and we'll start seeing some promise. But this is not the year where we're going to see wins. I think it was, going back to, the Johnny last week. This team should win 7 games because we beat the Broncos on a fucking last-second play in preseason week 1. Sorry, that's just not how fucking football is dealt. You don't change your mind during preseason. The best Cardinal preseasons I've ever seen were the worst seasons ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Every time we've looked really good in preseason, we've been fucking dog water during the regular season. So exactly. I don't give a fuck about preseason wins. They mean nothing to me. Yep. But you just got to be optimistic that we have real football guys in here that know what the fuck they're doing. But unfortunately, they don't have any loyalty to the current players that we have on the team. You would like to have Kyler Murray here. I would like to have Kyler Murray here. But if we're in a prime position to get as much draft capital trade value out of him, then he's got to play. If we trade him, he's got to play this year, because right now, if he's not playing, he has no trade value, and we're getting fleeced. And then we're getting. I don't like that.
It's gonna be the same situation where you're just flipping him to get off the books almost, or you're gonna flip him for a 5th rounder, but then you get Caleb Williams, which honestly might not be out of the realm of fucking possibilities.
Or it could be Kyler Murray fucking 2.0. We don't know. For me, it's just so frustrating to never hit on a franchise quarterback. It's a fucking cock tease when you think we trade up to get Josh Rosen, who's supposedly the next fucking Aaron Rodgers, to turn around, trade him away to draft Kyler Murray, number 1 overall, this short little man of a quarterback that I didn't want until I saw what he did against the Lions when he was fucking getting balls batted down. He was too short. I wrote him off. Yeah. And then the 4th quarter came and he turned it on. And I thought, okay, there's potential. I like it. That his rookie year, he gave a shit. He didn't want to fucking lose. He'd put the team on his back and play fucking hero ball. I like that. And then, just.
No, I 1,000% agree with you. No, you're 100,000% on.
Right now.
And at the end of the day, a lot of it is also because Steve Keim kicked the can down the road on building an actual roster from the ground up. He brought in all these fucking deals where you're hamstrung every fucking year by salary cap. It seems like where you have to maneuver. You have to fucking give a guy a fucking big contract 1 year. You have to cut down his salary the next year. And people get mad at you. Guys get mad at you. It doesn't build for it's a toxic culture that cannot survive in professional sports. Look at James Harden in the NBA calling out fucking Daryl Morey, the president of basketball operations, saying he's a fucking liar. How many people do you think have wished they fucking called Steve Keim a fucking liar? And just Monty Ossenfort coming in here, shedding the fucking weight, the fat that Keim has built up. And it sucks because I love Byron Murphy. I love Zach Allen. I wanted them to be fucking Cardinals for a long time. And that shit fucking hurts me, seeing them, elsewhere. It really, really does. And seeing us in this same spot where it felt like we were 3 years ago, when we were the worst team in the NFL, four years ago, whatever it was. We were the worst team in the NFL and had to build from the ground up, but we didn't build it the right way because we kept kicking the fucking can down the road. And Monty Ossenfort's coming in here hasn't given anyone more than a 2-year deal, and I appreciate that. You have to appreciate that because you're letting the guys here speak for themselves. If they're not going to make it, I'm going to bring in another guy that I have had past experiences with who might not be as talented, but he's going to follow the fucking game plan. He's going to do what he's told to fucking do, and I can trust that. And that is how you build something, man. You don't I can't wait to the day we stop talking about Steve Keim. But I feel like this is the day where it culminates. We can get it all out today, and then hopefully we move on. Hopefully we don't mention that motherfucker's name the rest of the year. Is my
Steve Keim, you will fucking pay for your sins. You deserve to be in jail for what you've done to this team.
Do a butt chug, Steve Keim.
Two things. People who are talking about this day as if it's one of the worst in Cardinals history are so strange to me, because just having
it's one way or the other. Like, people are super optimistic or super pessimistic.
Because I
be in reality.
I grew up with this team. I have been a fan of this team for all of the life I've known.
Yes.
And it's been nothing but pain. And to see people like, oh no, it's never been more over. And I said that at the top of the show, but I mean, for me, it's like it's always been never more over, because it's the Cardinals. That's just kind of how it is.
And today is kind of a reality day. A reality day is like, okay, like, we're not trying to necessarily go out there and win this year. We're building for something.
I've got great news to those guys. I've got great news to those guys. So our loss to the Chiefs is a good omen, because the only two other teams to go 0-16.
So Will stat.
Both won all of their preseason games. So we're not going 0-17.
So the Lions and the Browns, the Lions and Browns both. So that's to our point, Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
You can't read too much into it. If we would have won, the game against the Chiefs, imagine where expectations would be right now from some of these podcast heads. It wouldn't have changed our opinion. You would not sit here right now and say that, we're a playoff team. But I put it on everything. If we would have beat the Chiefs, these motherfuckers would have been rolling up the red carpet.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Thank you. And then we should end on that note. Fuck.
But to what was Will saying about this today being the worst day in Cardinals history, have clearly never been alive for when we traded for Kevin Colvin, got rid of DRC.
Yeah, I was saying that to Jackie before we opened. I was like, one of my favorite players as a kid was DRC, and then we traded him for a guy who wasn't even that good in Philly.
Shout out Dave Garcia. Good point.
Yeah.
Keim, you kick the can down the road because you can't draft. So you have to build a team based off of trades and free agency, and that's just not sustainable. You're not getting guys on rookie deals here. So that's a very good point. That is, it's kind of the compound effect. You fuck up one thing so bad, you have to overcompensate with this other. And we've seen it, we've lived it, and so hopefully here, Austin Fort, Keitrell Clark is showing out as the sixth rounder, so there is hope, there is promise here. We have to be patient. We have to really. There's just not enough depth on this team. There's just not enough depth. You saw what happened when we took out our starters starting the second quarter. We just got ran down the throat. I think the Chiefs had 500 total yards. We had 200 something. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not basing it all off the preseason, but it's just reality. Like, looking at the roster, we knew that the depth wasn't going to be there at D-line, cornerback. So when you're seeing it and, you're glad that the starters are, holding their own, because that's all we really have and to hold on to, other than some of these rookies as well to come in here. And, I liked what I saw at Kaiser White as well. That's a guy who Austin Fort brought in, one of the only guys on a 2-year deal. So here he comes, going to be linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Damn, I got bored. I looked up Kevin Cobb's stats. He had 3 more interceptions than touchdowns before we traded for him.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
If anybody's still listening,
thank you.
And first of all, thank you. For the drunk ramblings of.
I'm sorry, Silver Wolf. I did not mean to disrespect you. I apologize.
Mac is sorry, but drop your worst day in Cardinals history takes. I'd love to see it. Drop it in the chats.
We should fucking put a hashtag worst day in Cardinals history and put this episode on Twitter just to fucking throw a little fucking salt at these fucking idiots on there. They're crying their fucking eyes out, you fucking old heads.
Also, for funsies, if you can pick a song that describes what the season's going to be like, please also drop it in the chat, DM me something. I like to compile playlists, so I'm just curious to see what the season playlist would be like for this team.
Damn, that's a good one. That's a good idea. Shout out, David. Good point. I'm glad you remember that, David. I always say that. Don't get attached to role players, man. When growing up, Aeneas Williams and Larry Centers are my two favorite Cardinals, and the Cardinals are probably my favorite team. Growing up born in '86, so all my memories are Cardinals or Suns.
Mhm.
I wasn't a kid who didn't have football here. The football team that was here was shitty and had no fans and played in a college stadium with metal bleachers, but I had no idea. Like that shit had nothing to do. So my two favorite players, Aeneas Williams, Larry Centers, get fucked by the organization. Aeneas goes wins a ring in St. Louis. Larry Centers signs a contract the year before. They end up cutting him the year after. And that shit hurt, man. That shit pissed me off because that was right after we went to the playoffs. We beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. Then we maybe had one more year with those guys, and then we fucking shipped them out. And, as a fucking 13-year-old or whatever, you're like, why are we getting rid of the two fucking best players? So when I do see people like, sure, Isaiah Simmons is a first-round pick, or Josh Jones, or even just other sports, people get moved. Kelly Oubre. People fucking get so emotional about Kelly fucking Oubre. Like,
I love Kelly Oubre.
He's not you love Kelly Oubre, but on a basketball court, he doesn't make you better. So it's like to be attached to some of these guys because of their vibe or because of they're a good person, or this is a business. We have to all know that this is a business, and where Monty Ossenfort bought in at this business was at a great point for him to be able to come in and do whatever the fuck he wants to said business, because said business is going bankrupt. It's now or never for Michael Bidwell. Michael Bidwell's getting thrown to the fucking gas, the fire. He needs someone in here that he can kind of feel like he can trust. And, Michael Bidwell, as much as, he gets ragged on, he does not want to be known as a shitty sports owner. Who wants to be known as that, really? Yeah. Like, and it sounds like changes have been kind of underway, at the facilities and, some of these areas of, black marks that were on the NFLPA list. So only time will tell. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and Monty Ossenfort is right now the man in control of the business. So I'm glad that we have someone here who is not Steve Keim, and hopefully Michael Bidwell can stay out of his fucking way.
And to that point, I like that, I've preached about it anywhere that I've been able to talk since the hiring of Ossenfort and Gannon. And, it feels like we have football guys in the building. And it also doesn't feel like we're being sold on something that's cute.
Right. Yep.
What I mean by that is Keim got cute, did all these little flashy moves to keep people entertained.
He would always...
Ooh, shiny signing over here. Ooh, shiny signing over here.
Or in the
Sorry, we'll shut up. Sorry.
And you also have Jonathan Gannon, who, if you want to look at some positives, no pre-snap penalties with the line. No cute plays at the fucking goal line when you're trying to go for two. So I like that we have real football guys here. It's not flashy. We're not, we didn't hire a couple used car salesmen. We've got the real fucking deal. It's going to be a minute before we're competitive, but I like the vision. I like the direction. And, if we do have to trade Kyler, I'm going to put a lot of trust in this new regime, as much as I don't want to trade Kyler.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how anybody could look at our draft compared to previous drafts and not be at least a little inspired that we didn't pick somebody from a D3 school from North Dakota. And it's that felt good that I recognized every school on the list.
Yeah, no, we didn't get some fucking guy that went to school in the sticks that is a fucking linebacker that's gonna play fucking safety.
Who's gonna end up fucking left out. But no, to your point, Jackie, these are two football guys here who weren't within the organization or in a college fucking setting where he was fired. So your last to your GM, he built his way up through the Cardinals organization. So right off the bat, it tells you Michael Bidwell had some sort of relationship with him probably early on, like Keim early on, and kept him in his fucking, in his sights, so to speak, moving up through the system. And then, Cliff Kingsbury, failed fucking college coach. Basically, we were horrible on offense the year prior under Mike McCoy. So you try to go total opposite. These two guys here, Jonathan Gannon built himself up, has been in multiple organizations coming on up through the years, gets a defensive coordinator job not too long ago. His defense is one of the best in the league. He's proven it. He's earned this right, I feel like. And so with Monty Austinfort. Monty Austinfort's, been here with multiple organizations, with the fucking Patriots, with the Titans. So 2 winning organizations. He's seen how it's been built. And he's brought it. These guys have earned that right. So to your point, Jackie, 100%. Let the football guys finally get in here and do their thing. You're not trusting a fucking college head coach, where you have to nitpick and say, hey, you want to, I'm the owner of the football team. Do you want to can we set aside an hour of time, twice a week to go over everything? Just want to make sure you're like, I doubt that's really happening with Gannon. He's let him probably do his thing. And I'm sure they probably do have meetings, maybe, once a month or something like that, or once every couple of weeks. But I doubt he's in there micromanaging after, what we've lived through and been through and what NFLPA shit came out. If Michael Bidwell wants to succeed, he needs to take a step back. That's the only way this thing's going to work at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And David says, it's real football, not pretty boy football. Yeah, I'm very thankful that there is no more pretty boy football.
He just looked exhausted by the end of his tenure.
Oh my God, he aged fucking a decade.
I mean, if you had to coach this team, I feel like you would too.
Fucking team gave me high blood pressure and gray hairs. Not even 30.
I still got both.
Yeah. Fucking dandruff, cellulitis.
Not even 30. What is that like?
Not even 30.
I'm getting tight over here on my back. Fucking just sitting too long with.
I had a baby, so that.
We're about even.
Having a child ages me like 5 years.
Oh, so we're almost even. So
yeah.
I can go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at 6 and be fine.
Jesus Christ! I remember I used to be able to do that all the time. Yeah.
Anyways.
I'm actually more well rested when I do that.
Anyways, anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
It's not the end of the world. We're probably getting a high draft pick, but I feel like we already expected this anyway. Live and let live. This year's going to suck, but at least there's going to be some highlights.
Are you looking forward to any players?
I'm excited for.
Give your eye on?
I mean, I'm excited for Wilson. I am interested to see whether or not Toon turns out to be anything. Those are the main two. I mean, that's. I am very high on Paris Johnson at the moment because
he's my biggest guy.
Because he's had a phenomenal preseason. And I'm glad we finally listened to Kyler Murray on a pick for once.
Hold on, before Matt gets into it, and I'm sorry, David. I know you're the homie and all, but
what kicker? Was it Justin Tucker?
Please roast.
Was it Justin Tucker?
It's only acceptable if it's Justin Tucker.
Was it Justin Tucker? Please tell me. Please tell me in the comments because I can't look at my phone right now.
Honestly, can't think of anyone else you'd ever take, but took a kicker in the 6th round of fantasy draft. Oh, I've done one draft this year, and it was on the way back from San Diego. As we're driving back from San Diego, we're beating the hurricane out. So we had a group of us I'll get to the draft story here in a second, but so we left, me, my brother, and 2 of his buddies. We left early, right when we checked out, 10 o'clock in the morning, fucking got the fuck out of there. 4 of his other buddies were going to fly back into town Sunday, but all the flights got canceled. So they had to go to the airport, pick up a rental car. So they're about half an hour behind us. So we're on the I-8, right? And we're going through the mountains, and this shit is fucking gnarly. The fucking winds and the rain. So we get out of the fucking mountains, and we end up getting to Yuma. We pull off to In-N-Out Yuma. We give the fucking guys who are about half an hour behind us a call. And a semi rolled over on the I-8, blocking all the fucking 2 lanes. So they had to backtrack everyone from the I-8, open up a 1-lane road that connected to the I-8 and I-10. So they had to fucking open up some random-ass road, fucking take the hurricane up through there. So, but after we left Yuma, my draft is about to start. Dynasty draft. I only got like 8 picks. Ended up getting Michael Wilson in my 3rd round, fucking Dynasty. It's all rookies, so not too bad. I am going to be happy about that. But even at that point, I had 8 picks in that draft. I did not pick one kicker.
Right. I mean, sometimes, like, there's been drafts where I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't get a kicker, but didn't matter because I could just drop, some bum and.
Round 8, I don't even know if I'd have a quarterback yet, to be honest. I might not have a fucking quarterback round 8.
We had a super flex quarterback, so everybody took quarterbacks.
Hey, I would ask Will what he thought about kicker in round 8, but I mean, he's probably like, fuck, I had him fucking Tucker down at round 7 this year.
If you're not using your number 1 pick, if you're not using your number 1 pick on Justin Tucker, what you doing, man?
AZ Esports Cards, please come back and join us this year. Listen to Will's fantasy questions, advice, therapy, because it is joyous.
Hold on, before Will gets into it, I do want to say that that's my boyfriend. So
AZ Esports Cards.
Yes.
I'm just glad it wasn't Silver Wolf, and I'm like, oh, she wouldn't fuck you, and he's like, this motherfucker, I'm banging her already, bitch. Like, oh.
Do you guys want to hear? You guys want to hear my roster?
No.
Shout out Big C Dog, AZ Esports Cards, C Dog.
Okay.
Sorry, go Tucker.
It. So starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
This is gonna be great. Let me write this down.
All right. So
okay, not bad.
Okay,
James Conner is one of my starting running backs.
Okay.
Travis Etienne is my other.
Ooh, you better get some depth there, boy. You better get some depth. Those injuries.
Got Stephon Diggs as my starting wideout.
All right.
Metcalf is my other.
All right. Big Seahawks fan, huh?
I've got George Kittle as my tight end.
All right. You need some injury assistance on your roster, I see.
I've got Michael Thomas as my flex at the moment.
Oof. Okay.
I've got
Why the fuck?
I've got
What year?
I've got Cam Akers as one of my backup running backs.
I thought he retired.
I've got Brian Robinson as one of my other backup running backs.
He'll start for you. Brian Robinson will be.
I'm debating starting in week 1 against us.
I would. He'd be my flex for you for sure.
I've got Odell and DeAndre.
DeAndre who? I'm kind of buzzed right now. Oh, D-Hop.
I've got Zay Jones, Dalton Schultz, and then my kicker is Evan McPherson, and I've got the Steelers defense.
Bro, you gotta start Brian Robinson against our fucking defense. I'm sorry, he's he's gonna be a stud.
Like ass.
I mean, honestly, I might start him over James. I mean, James Conner has a point to prove, though. I feel like James Conner is really the one guy in this roster where it was kind of a turnover, and he's the type of guy that, a coaching staff would love to have. He's not a pussy. He's not going to shy away from fucking hits. He's going to go down he's not Kenyon Drake needing his mom to text him after games and shit. So that's the one guy.
North and South.
Yeah, while he might not be a top 10 running back, and he definitely has no breakaway speed at all, he's a guy that you can count on to be able to fucking do the dirty work. And that, as a new coaching staff, new GM, that's all you really want. You want guys who are going to be selfless, not think about the next payday. Go in there and get fucked up if they have to make a play.
I initially drafted Anthony Richardson, and I dropped him to sign Robinson.
What?
What the fuck?
Okay, hold on. I guess you're 10-team, 8-team league? 10-team league? 10-team.
Is that a what? As in, why'd you drop him? Or
in my dynasty draft, I had 5th or 6th pick, and I wanted Anthony Richardson. I needed a fucking QB, and he went one spot ahead of me. I just like his running ability as well. His dual threat gives me hope for a rookie quarterback. But Brian Robinson available, you can't argue that.
Yeah, especially against our defense.
Yeah, if Brian Robinson's available, yeah, that's.
I got to figure out where to start him because I've got so many places where it's like, damn, these teams are going against.
Good thing you got 2 weeks to worry about it, but
yeah,
I gotta go watch my Diamondbacks, folks, and then shout out ASU starting up next week. Let's get some Devils. Let's get some.
Woo!
Yeah, I think once we start talking about fantasy, that's our cue to wrap up. Not that I'm gonna bore you guys with like my team.
I mean, well, me and you, but once you get on Will's team, let's go, Jackie, wrap it up.
Not to suck my own dick though. My fantasy is quite solid. That's all I'm gonna say.
How have you guys already drafted though? I get it in Dynasty, but like leagues where people are still getting hurt? Like that shit's. Is it a money league? Leagues that are money leagues scare me.
We don't play for money.
Okay. Yeah. Big dick fucking award of the weeks.
Yep. Big dick player of the game.
You got a little too excited there. That's my cue.
Fucking speak English.
All right, we going.
All right, Will, take us out.
This has been another spectacular episode of the Redbird Redzone Podcast. My name is Will. I'm the Player Hater of the Year 2023, and you can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing.
And I am Mac at AZ Sports Fiend. Hey, Will, did Jackie tell you that last 2 times you haven't been here, she tried saying you're at when we've been doing these? But so shout out if you've been getting any followers. People are like, oh, Jackie, is that you? Will.
I've been getting porn bots. Was that you, Jackie?
Porn bot. I think we've all been getting that in Elon's fucking X. So. But AZ Sports Fiend, that's FIEN. Thank you guys all for joining us.
Yes, shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you all. And you can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with 2 O's. And we are out.
Love you guys. Peace.
And broadcast. Okay.